Hey, what's up? My name is Prema. Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we'd do something a little bit different. Over the summer, I directed a small skit for Shri Gaayatri Mandir. It's a small temple in Minnesota. And they asked me for their cultural show to write a script and direct a small skit. And I thought that I would do a little director's commentary on the skit that we did. There's always so much going on behind the scenes in my brain about how these things are conceived, and I just wanted to share that. Maybe you'd find it insightful, maybe you'd find it an educational experience, maybe. So I just thought we'd go through the skit together and talk about it. If you want to see the full skit without my commentary on it, I'm going to add the link below to my dad's channel where he has the whole skit without my talking over it. But we're going to watch this together and hopefully you'll find it interesting. This idea for this skit I had long before the show. Actually, we had this idea for this skit before COVID. I was still pregnant at that time, even, I think. And we were going to put on a show, but then COVID happened or something happened, and then we ended up canceling the show. But we were trying to think of ideas, because the thing is like, if you're gonna do a show, it needs to be like, at least the way I like it, it's very hard to do parts of a show because some people are not super familiar with a pastime like the Ramayana, Mahabharata, that kind of stuff. And even if you show like the best part, it's hard for people to really connect with it. So you kind of need to find a way to find a story that's kind of contained in itself. It's got a beginning, middle, and end, and the actual flow of the larger story isn't impacted too much by the smaller story. You'll see what I mean in just a second. We were trying to think of different stories, different pastimes from Shastra, and my mom was like, well, why don't you do Shabari? And I was just like, oh my God, done to death. We hear that story all the time, like every yug, we have to talk about Shabari, like who wants to hear about Shabari? And she's just like, just think about it and let me know. And at the time I was kind of like, all right, let me look into it and see. And like the first step you should always take whenever you're writing a script or acting or directing, you've got to do the research. So I started reading, you just Google it quickly and you'll get a lot of stories, a lot of excerpts from Ramacharitmanas, Ramayan, different other versions of the Ramayan. And actually her history was fascinating that I didn't realize. For me, her story is basically just she meets Ram and, the fruit, she tastes the fruit before offering it to him. And it's like, oh, should she do it? Should she not do it? It's like, that's her story, that I knew of. But then when I started to read more, I was like, wow, there's so much depth to her character that I really appreciated. So that's kind of what inspired me to write The Faith of Shabari. And it's called The Faith of Shabari because it's really about her faith, her determination, that she was going to meet Ram, that she followed the words of her spiritual master. So that's why I kind of gave it that title for the skit. When you write something, you should try and follow some kind of format. It doesn't have to be hero's journey, of course, because very rarely do you find any Shastra that follows the hero's journey perfectly, especially when you're doing something so short like this. But I usually try to follow Dan Harmon's story circle. You can Google that. And it's a great plot to go through where you have the character at a state of like normalcy, and then they enter the adventure and they see through the adventure and they come out of that adventure changed, essentially is what it is. So you can kind of see that when you follow the faith of Shabari, is that she's kind of at a normal point, then she goes through the trouble, she comes out of it again, and having changed. That's what my plot was based on. So let's give it a start here. I use, I stopped already. The music from this mostly is from Filmora. And it's more Western style. But I think the point is that it has to evoke emotions. So the music that you're hearing now and that you'll hear throughout is mostly Filmora until we get to the end. That's us, Dham Good Productions. See my dad in the corner.
Matanga Muni! I'm searching for Matanga Muni. Are you the great sage, Matanga?
Yes, I am.
I have searched all of Rishamukha mountain for you. Please accept me as your disciple.
Wait. A guru cannot accept a disciple whimsically. Who are you? Why are you here?
My name is Shabari. I come from a tribe of hunters. I ran away from home to seek enlightenment.
Okay, go home.
What? Why?
You are a young woman. Go back to your family. Get married. Have children. The life of an ascetic is too austere.
But I ran away from that life. My father was ready to marry me off, and I realized that I didn't want to live the rest of my life hunting and killing innocent animals.
We hardly sleep.
The thing is there's so little known about Shabari. Even like at one point, I was like, is her name even really Shabari? Like, doesn't that sound like the name of a tribe or something? But I'm pretty sure that's her name. And the stories are a little bit different. Some say it's like this, where she didn't want to be a hunter-killer. She's more inclined toward enlightenment. It says, some say it was the day of her wedding, and she saw like they were preparing to kill all these animals, and she didn't want to be a part of that. There's many different stories attributed to this, to what's going on there's many different understandings, but I like the idea that she's here. We see a young girl, right? She's not an old girl. She was young, and she had a unique desire for enlightenment, which I like. Whenever I write my scripts, I try to think of it from a very normal perspective. What were they thinking at that time type perspective. And it's so uncommon for a young girl to think so far ahead about enlightenment and self-realization, you know, especially when marriage, I think, is such an important milestone in young women's lives. And for her to leave, and she'd been searching for who knows how long, and then people were kind of dismissing her, and they were like, okay, well, how about Matanga? Go find Matanga Muni. And here he's kind of dismissing her, and he's telling her, this isn't the life for you, you know?
I will serve you faithfully. I will clean the ashram. I will fetch water and food. I will wash your clothes. You won't ever hear me complain.
Go and bring some water from Lake Pampa for my afternoon ablutions.
Thank you, Gurudev.
I wanted to say oblations, and he wanted to say ablutions. Ablation, because I think rishis in the mountains, all they're doing is meditating and doing puja, but ablutions.
Respected sage, Shabari has been wandering these mountains for days. No one would take her in.
We didn't take her in. A lone woman wandering the mountains? It's unheard of. And a low caste nonetheless.
Low caste people don't have the mental ability for self-realization like us Brahmins do.
Try as they might, they will always go back to their low-class tendencies.
I was born in low caste.
Well,
Shout out to Anita for jumping in at the last moment, because we needed another rishi, and we couldn't find anybody that was willing to do it. She did a great job, and you know, everyone actually, like, when I watched the whole thing, because we really were working with a limited amount of time and very limited availability, and everyone really stepped up and put in a lot of work. So shout out to everybody for really contributing. And here, so now we're gonna see Matanga.
I was conceived from the drunken encounter of my Brahmin mother with a Shudra barber. Should I have been a barber like my birth father?
I don't think so, unless that's what you want to do.
Exact.
So with Matanga, here's the thing. I don't actually know a lot about Matanga either. When I was researching and trying to find more information to kind of give an understanding, give kind of a background to why Matanga decides to accept this young girl as a disciple, I did find references to a Matanga Muni. So I decided, okay, there's this Matanga Muni and a past Matanga Muni. Let's just marry them together. And apparently the story was that Matanga was, actually I don't want to tell this wrong. Let me pause this a sec. I really should have written this down. I can't find it. But essentially this story was something like he had heard, I think it was a bull or no, it was a cow. It was this, I should have earmarked it or something, but essentially the story is that he had found he had heard a cow that had a calf. And then the cow said something along the lines of like, of course you would do that, you're a Shudra. And then Matanga had no idea what this cow was talking about. Apparently cows talked back then. So he's like, what do you mean? Like, my father's a Brahmana, my mother's a Brahmana, how could I be a Shudra? How could I be a low caste? Right? A lower caste, not a low caste, but lower caste. And then this cow began to tell the story of how his mother got drunk and had an affair with a barber, and that's how he was conceived, but the father decided to raise him as his own. So this upset Matanga, and then he decided that he wanted to become a real Brahmin. So he began to take like tapasya, austerity and penance very seriously. And the demigods were like, you cannot become a Brahmana. You cannot just change caste. But he was quite determined, and I think my memory doesn't serve me so well because it's been a few months, but he became very angry, and like when you earn in those days, like when you earn a certain amount of austerity, like you gain this energy, this power that could like destroy the world. So it was like kind of getting to that place, and then the demigod said, okay, you can change caste, you're officially a Brahmana now. So this is kind of like why I think Matanga took mercy on Shabari, because I think he could relate to her, that even though she's this low caste, tribal, hunter girl, she had a desire for self-realization, just like him, and he wanted to help her with her spiritual quest.
What I want to do, a person's caste should never be determined by birth.
This verse, what he's saying here is from the Bhagavad Gita.
And you will see one day Shabari seems like just a simple tribal girl, but I know she has the potential to be one of the greatest devotees of the Lord.
Gurudev, I brought your water.
Good.
So Matanga Muni, you can see like through his austerity, he can see the future, and he knows something. He can predict, he can see in her goodness. Even though you see these rishis, they say like in what I've read, the rishis had no respect for Shabari. They didn't care for the fact that she was a tribal hunter girl. They completely derided her at every chance they got. So Matanga basically was the only person on Mount Rishimukha that really, cared for her and gave her a chance.
Sit down. The Supreme Lord is like the sun, and Maya, illusion, is darkness. Where there is God, there is no room for Maya. When the sun is up, is there any room for darkness? Therefore, the intelligent thing to do is to lead your life with God in the center. Remember God, serve God, speak about God, and sing about the glories of God. Then what will happen? You will be liberated in this life even though you are in this material body.
You know, it's funny because I had written out the whole script and, my mom kept asking me, is it ready? Is it ready? We need to start getting people, whatever. And I'm like, it's like 90% there. It's not there yet. I'm getting there. It's just, there's like a je ne sais quoi. There's something missing. I don't know what it is. And it was like, this part, like, I was trying to write different things. None of it was working. I tried to write like, he's doing the processes of devotional service. He's writing how to do archan. I was writing, all kinds of stuff. Nothing was coming. And then it got to a point where I was like, what if he just doesn't say anything? And I'd cut it out, but it just felt empty, because we want to see some instruction that leads her to the faith, And then I thought, every day I get these little quotations from my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Swami Maharaj. And I thought, let me check the quotations and see if I see anything that maybe I'll be able to put in here. And that same day that I was looking, the same day I found this that he just said. The only difference was that he said Krishna instead of God. But I thought for the sake of continuity, I should change that. But other than that, it's like word for word exactly what he said. And it fits so perfectly in this section. It fits so perfectly with what's going on in this part. And this play was so special and so personal to me because it really deals a lot with the relationship between a guru and disciple, and something going on in my life, I guess, is like I feel like I'm very eloquent with my words, but when he passed away I couldn't find the words to say anything, and it's been harder and harder every day to say how I feel. The words just don't come up, but somehow in this play it really exemplified my feelings that I felt toward him. There were many times where I felt like I could cry. Like it was just so personal to me. So here we see a time lapse.
Shabari had wandered the dry desert of ignorance, and Matanga Muni had quenched her thirst for self-realization. Despite the opposition she received from other rishis,
you can see her serving him. She's picking the flowers. She's taking instruction.
And served him with faith and enthusiasm for many decades.
I wanted to turn the lights on and off, but the lights were a little bit wonky and I didn't want to mess with it. See, she's a little bit more mature. The skipping stops.
Shabari, the auspicious hour has come for me to leave my body and transcend to the spiritual abode.
Gurudev, don't leave me. I still need you. I have so much left to learn.
I have taught you everything you need to know.
But
This part is so special to me because I always feel like
Dear daughter,
if I could talk to my guru,
with you.
there will be a
this is
time
what I would say.
when we will see each
This is
other.
what I envision he would say, what I would
But
say.
you must stay under this.
This is why, like you can see, it's a little tough for me.
Lord Vishnu will incarnate. He will come to this ashram, and you need to be here.
And you can see Matanga Muni here, he's got some foresight.
When?
But the only problem is he never told her
I
when.
understand why he would
I just thought that was a little funny.
Have
Like, why doesn't he just say?
The Supreme Lord Shri Ram will come. Remember everything I taught you. You must stay.
Music is beautiful.
to wait for Lord Rama. Guru Dev said Lord Rama is coming. His final instruction is that I wait for Lord Rama. How do you prepare for God to come to your house? Okay, it should be spotless. Maybe he will be hungry. Collect the fruits. Okay. How do I know which ones are the best ones?
See, this is where she's supposed to start, like, eating it. Like, she should taste it and be like, this is good, this is not good. And there's the brahmanas coming to harass her, the rishis.
Sages living on this mountain. What is so special about your ashram?
I don't know, but the Lord never lets the words of his devotee be false.
And when will he come? Lord Rama is not even born yet.
I don't know. Guru Dev said Lord Rama will come, so he will come.
So here you can see I'm using the Ramayana as like a background to the story of Shabari. So it's not like we're telling the Ramayana and Shabari is a part of it. We're telling the story of Shabari. We're telling the story of Shabari. The Ramayana is the background to it. So Rama, I imagine this is like, a long time ago. Rama isn't even born yet because he was like 16, right? When he was exiled from the kingdom. So that would mean that he was maybe 29 when Sita was kidnapped. So by the time he met Shabari, she was an ancient old crotchety lady. She was already, gray hair, the whole deal. Not a young woman. So that's why I put in, he's not even born yet. And Vedic scriptures do tell of demigods, or not demigods. Ancient scriptures do tell of the different avatars and when they're coming, different incarnations. So, and they're of course trying to cast doubt in her, but she has the faith. Like, she's like, I don't know, but he's gonna come, because she has faith in her guru, which is beautiful.
And if that's the case, then surely he will come here.
Go home, tribal girl. No one wants you here. The only person who cared about you is now dead.
Here we see that same music from we see the same music from when she was doing the time lapse. The same music is coming back again. And it's funny because the first time we heard it, it was very like chipper, kind of nice. And the same music again, it sounds so sad. These garlands, I forgot to tell them how to place it, and you'll find out why it's a problem in a sec.
The day Sri Ram arrives, Shabari spent every day of her life waiting for just a glimpse. She decorates the entrance of her ashram with flowers, tastes every fruit to see which one is the best to offer, and makes sure that he has a comfortable place to sit and rest from wandering the forests.
See, we did a change between young Shabari and like an older Shabari. And they needed to be a little bit more active, but Auntie Chitra did a great job here.
And they say Shri Ram, Sita Devi and Lakshmana made an ashram in Panchavati and will spend the rest of their exile there.
Now we've done a time lapse, and it's, Lord Ram now, he's in exile in the forest. He's already born and grown up.
Maybe now that Shri Ram wanders the forest, he will visit your ashram or mine.
They think they're great.
Touch me. I have to go purify myself.
They still hate Shabari.
That old Sudra thinks because she's living in her guru's ashram, she's qualified to associate with us.
We keep telling you, go home.
So in this part, I don't know if this actually happened or not. I was reading some version of Shabari's history that was so far removed from what I'd read from other versions of the Ramayan. And it said something like she was at Lake Pampa, they threw this stone at her, then the whole lake turned red, and she injured her foot really bad. Then they called Lord Ram. Lord Ram came and saw her, and he said, "Oh, it's because you threw a stone at my heart, and that's why Lake Pampa is red with blood," meaning that Shabari is in his heart. I thought that was beautiful, but I took that little, I wasn't sure how legitimate that was, but I did like the idea of them throwing the stone, because I wanted to give a moment of just like, I'm here alone. You hear her calling for a Gurudev who has long died, but she's calling for him. She wants some guidance. She needs to know how she can carry on. She's calling up to the sky.
Gurudev, I need your help. How can I go on?
And here she is with the stick, and she somehow finds the will and the determination to carry on.
Ram is coming.
I can hear people commenting, "It looks so real." We have another time lapse now where we see that she's an even older person. We covered her head to show that she's even older, barely, able to walk. So I can't imagine being in her position and waiting decades, it's not even like a couple years, and doing the same thing every day, despite all the obstacles. She's doing her thing. This music is so beautiful, and it's just so funny how it goes from being like, when we first heard it, it was like happy, and now we're hearing it again, and it's sad and beautiful. There you go. I love this music because This is from YouTube. This is somebody's YouTube instrumental music that I borrowed. And I love this music because it just has like a very ancient feel to it. Like it sounds sacred. And I love that like audible gasp you get when you hear the music and you see Lord Ram. So again, you see my brother, you see Paramanand here being Lord Ram and my brother being Lakshman.
I am a foolish old woman. I am an outcast. I don't live in a palace. Why did you come here? Why do you choose me?
I recognize only the devotion a person has. One could have everything in the world, but if they don't have devotion, then it's like a cloud without water.
Lord, please, come in with me. Come, I want to serve you. Come in my ashram. Under Aye. Come, Aye.
A lot of people are giving me a hard time because of this table. You know, Matanga was sitting on it. Now we have like Ram sitting on it. They felt like I should have gotten a different table. But then I was like, look, the space is so small. Like you can see what you're seeing right now is all we had. So the table is not really so much of an asana as much as it's just a prop. So. She's washing his feet. And he's like, cool, nice. And And here's where the issue starts, where I should have told them. It was in my brain, but I didn't think to say something. And the garlands got tangled up. And it was like, and you know, time is running. I had to like backtrack the music a little bit. So, yeah, but somehow they managed to figure out. I don't think you can hear, but I'm there like, forget the garlands, just go get the fruit.
Elder brother, she tasted these fruits before giving it to you. It's contaminated.
I have tasted many types of food, but nothing equals these bare fruits offered with such devotion.
With Shabari, I was trying to think of like how she should act, and I thought about like my husband's village and those old ladies there, and they just like, they'll just put their hands all over you. So I was like, when you want Ram to come in your house, you should just grab his hand and be like, come, sit right here. Oh, you look so nice, fawn over him, whatever, you know? Like for us, like who are not village people, we would have that awe and reverence. But the fact that she's like eating this fruit before giving it to him, like shows she's got a little bit of that village innocence. So I really wanted that to be apparent.
My lord, how do I increase my devotion to you? Can you teach me about bhakti?
There are 9 processes of devotional service. The first is association with saintly people.
These processes of devotional service is totally different from the ones in the Bhagavatam, but still interesting.
The holy names of the Lord. The 5th process of bhakti is to chant the holy name, and the 6th is to have self-control and good character. The 7th is to worship the devotees of the Lord. The 8th is to be content, and the 9th process of devotion is to surrender unto me and have full faith in me. If anyone has one of these...
Bear is also known as Jujube. We know them in Trinidad as dongs. I've had bear. Bears, it's nice. It's good.
Bhakti is perfect.
My lord, you are an ocean of mercy. Why have you come to my ashram?
My beloved wife, Sita, was kidnapped from our hermitage. My brother and I have been wandering these forests, trying to find her. Is there anyone who can help me?
Prabhuji, you know everything, but still you ask me. Sugriv is the chief of the monkeys, and he lives in the Rishimuk mountains across the Pampa Lake.
So here we see that Ramayan illustration, you know, going on in the background. The reason of him coming is because he wants to find Sita. The purpose of her staying and living so long is so that she could tell him how to find Sita. See, so you know, both stories are kind of merging now, and then they'll separate.
Help him get his wife and kingdom back, and make friends with him.
I also wanted to make sure that we tell what's going to happen. So that's why we're mentioning Sugriv, mentioning Hanuman, and that they're going to look for Sita.
It's a divine personality. He can do anything in your service.
Here they're like overjoyed because it's like, oh, we finally found some
Shabari,
little
what blessing can I give you?
clue.
Prabhuji, my life is now fulfilled just by seeing you.
See, her life is fulfilled just by seeing him. This is all.
To the place
She did the thing that she had to do, that her guru instructed.
I'm satisfied by the simplicity of your love and devotion to me. Now you can go to Vaikuntha and join your guru again.
Forgive me, dear mother. Until today, I thought no one loved Sri Ram as dearly as I do. But I see now you've proved me wrong. In this world, your love for Ram will be remembered forever.
See, and it's totally true because like every West Indian knows this story, like every West Indian Hindu. And I like, see, there's a little story in and of itself there, because you feel like Lakshmana is a little bit puffed up, you know, he's a little bit egotistic about his love and dedication for Ram. And, you know, and then she's like this little old lady, and she's like, you know, like how devotional could she be? And then Ram is like, oh yeah, you're the perfect devotee. And it kind of humbles Lakshmana a little bit. It was supposed to be a little bit more like of a small wave.
I'm just a low-caste tribal girl.
So here I just like to summarize what we just saw.
My guru, I learned to worship the lotus feet of Lord Rama. Even though many times people insulted and harassed me, I had faith in my guru's instructions that Sri Ram was coming. And see, he came. This insignificant soul received the rare benediction of not only seeing him, but serving him.
Anyone, regardless of caste, gender, color, or intelligence, who faithfully follows the instructions of the Guru and serves Sri
See, I wanted her to sit on that table thing that everyone was sitting on, just because the story is about her, and I wanted her to be the focus. But anyway, if it was easier for her to sit down over there, that's okay too. But either way, she did a great job. Loved her acting, and yeah, the audience was in love with her too. So this whole play was just beautiful. And if you get a chance, do check out my dad's Facebook, link below, and watch it peacefully without my director's commentary. See, I added that little om at the end just to that's like the liberation, you know? And everyone really loved it. They were really emotional. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that director's commentary on the Faith of Shabari. I hope you liked it. And of course, if you have any questions or you have any comments, leave me a comment down below, and I'll be happy to respond. I respond to every comment I get. Yeah, it was such a pleasure again to have written this, to have directed this, to have worked with this great cast. You know, and the audience was great, super receptive, which is what you love to have with an audience, you know. I could see, like, in the beginning it was a little noisy, people were like, oh, whatever, and then it started to get quiet, and you love when it gets quiet and it's like the audience is reciprocating with the people on the stage. That's what you want, you know. So that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching my video. Also, in the description box, check out the link to the full-length video. Please check out the description box below so you can find out ways to show me some love and to support this channel. As always, be good to each other, be good to yourselves, and thank you for being Dham good. Bye.